Hello and welcome. Kerry here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. And today we have our Thursday night Carnivore Q&A. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to be answering your questions. We have an incredible panel of speakers here. Before we jump into it, just to get the ball rolling, because we ran out of time last week, we will be doing a giveaway for a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue. So start posting your questions right now. Any question you have or your testimony of healing, post that in the chat with hashtag ribeye, and we will be randomly picking someone to win a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue. In order to win, you have to be following each of the speakers you see here on the screen, and there's a link in the description below. It only takes like 2 seconds to click on the link and subscribe to each person. Adam, Dr. Nelson, Barb, Lynn, Ashley, how y'all doing tonight?
Fantastic, brother. How are you?
I am doing amazing. I had a wonderful brisket flat today that was incredible. And I hear, Dr. Nelson, you just celebrated a milestone?
Yesterday, 1,000 days. So 1,001 days today. Carnivore.
Congratulations. That is awesome. All right. Well, before we jump into the questions, we also have 50% off right now our Healing Humanity membership site. There is a promo code on the bottom of the screen and a link in the description below. Ashley, do we have any announcements before we jump into the questions?
Just the one announcement that we have been making because we want to see everybody out there, and that's meat stock coming up just over a month away, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I believe, and it is coming upon us quick. It's crazy to believe we're almost in May, but what an amazing event this is going to be. At the conference, I think there's going to be like close to 1,200 people there, maybe more. It's amazing conference with a ton of people who are going to be there, speakers, guests, chances for photo ops. Kerry, the man, will be there, and as announced earlier, we'll be able to show anybody who's there in attendance the Healing Humanity documentary, the long-awaited. I'll let you say more about that, but man, if you don't have your tickets, you better get your tickets.
Yeah, so, meatstockconvention.com. Use code Healing Humanity for $50 off, meatstockconvention.com. And yes, when's the documentary coming out? Well, May 2nd, there'll be an exclusive showing at Meatstock on May 2nd.
I'll be there
shortly after. Dr. Nelson will be there. Adam will be there. Lynn will be there. Barb will be there. Ashley, Emma's going to be there too. It's all the good doctors. Many people that we filmed for the documentary will be there as well. Now, if you're asking, but I'm not going to be at Meatstock, where can I watch Healing Humanity? We are going to be announcing venues and movie theaters and locations that you can watch Healing Humanity. And the best way to stay on top of that is to subscribe to our free newsletter. There's a link in the description below, and we're going to be emailing out to that regularly for all of the venues, movie theaters, locations that you can watch Healing Humanity at shortly after Meatstock. So make sure to subscribe there. All right, should we jump into some questions?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We've got some new members. Christian, Christy, Melody, Granta. Thank you so much for those memberships. We really appreciate it. We have a question from Amanda. Let's see here. Healing and Humanity is the best I've recently gotten, and these last 2 days are the best that I felt. Ever so excited for tomorrow and the future. Thankful, grateful, blessed. And we've got a second one from Amanda. Recently gotten some advice and tips from Healing Humanity that should stay in there.
That's great, Amanda. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well.
Love to hear it, Amanda. Thank you. Oh, we got one more from Amanda. Hello from Merrill, Wisconsin. Looking forward to the discussion tonight. Amanda, the Carnivore. You guys are the greatest.
Hi, Amanda.
Love it. All right. All right. So we are looking for your questions. Last week we ran out of time. So don't be shy if you have any questions for anyone here on the panel. We're we're not doctors, except for Dr. Nelson's a doctor, but we're not giving medical advice here. But we'll do the best to answer your questions.
And
Post them with
I'm
hashtag
a
giveaway.
doctor. I'm a doctor, but I'm not your doctor.
So you can't give medical advice specific to them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You can give general advice.
General advice.
Absolutely. We got a question from Honeybee's Homestead. I'm going to give this one to Ashley. How should I prepare a top round roast? Carnivore Day 30. Congratulations on 30
Right.
days.
Top round roast. Now, any of those roasts or something like that, honestly, it's hidden in the name, but the best way to do it is roast it. Slow cooker. Those are a little tougher cuts of meat generally. So if you slow cook those, and they'll tenderize and turn out beautifully. So if you've got a slow cooker, I'd throw it in there. There's not a specific time frame. Just let it go a couple of hours. It'll get fork tender, which basically means you'll be able to pull it apart with your forks. 2 forks, you should be able to pull it apart. A lot of people add, and I suggest add a stick of butter to it. Cook it just like a chuck roast. It'll do great. Some people cook it in the oven, but to me, I think it dries it out a little bit too much. I like cooking it in a slow cooker.
I love it. And I just did this about 2 weeks ago with a top round roast. I did it in the slow cooker. And one thing I read that really helped me was don't put too much liquid in there. Actually, when I do a chuck roast, I don't put any liquid in. But for the top round roast, I put a little bit of liquid in. But if you don't, a lot of liquid will come out of the meat. And if you put too much water in there, for example, you'll end up just boiling it. So the advice I got was maybe liquid like halfway up the meat, and then just let it go low and slow. And then you get a nice gravy afterwards if you're patient, making up a gravy for it. But yeah, it's nice and fork tender. That's incredible.
The other thing, if you happen to have the equipment and a dehydrator or a smoker, actually round roast makes good jerky too. You can make some very clean jerky. Just put your beef and salt in there and let it cook in the smoker and or dehydrator.
Love it. All right, we got a question from Tammy. This is a good panel question. Start with Adam. Oh wait, actually, I clicked on the wrong one. Where did that go here? Sorry, 1 second. It was a good panel question. Here we go. We'll get to Tammy's question in a second. But for Adam, what do you think is the most underrated carnivore food?
That's a really good question.
I have an answer. And we talked about it on our Inspire Together Zoom call. Ashley brought it up. And it makes my mouth water just thinking about it, is beef shanks. Amazing if you cook them right. And they're so full of nutrients, and they've got the marrow. And yeah, maybe Ashley needs to expound a little bit on how he cooks them. But they're amazing.
They are amazing, and yeah, that one is also
Low
good.
and slow.
Slow cooker, low and slow. You got to tenderize the meat, but you can get them in the bones in there. And so what's beautiful about the beef shanks is you get a lot of collagen, you get the marrow, and that all comes out into it. What you do is after you slow roast it, I have a what's it called, Carrie? One of those. It's not a crock pot. It's a
pressure, like an Instant Pot.
No, it's
Dutch
one
oven?
that you put Dutch oven thing. You put it in the oven, and I can just cook it in there. And then after you pull it out, I pull the meat out. You have to do it carefully because it's so tender it falls apart. Pull it out, and all those juices you put into, and you just boil it, get it boiling, and then let it simmer and let it cook down, and that becomes a gravy for it. And it's it's excellent.
So good. Shout out Mimi. She taught us that. The gravy, you got to be patient though. That's the tough part. You got the beef shanks falling apart. You just want to eat them, but you gotta be patient. Let that gravy steam out a little bit. It'll be incredible. All right, we got a question for Dr. Nelson. This is from Tammy. On carnivore for 30 days plus, and the last few days waking up again with headaches that make me want to sleep. Why would this be?
Well, the first thought I have, probably everybody here had it already. Electrolytes might be a problem. So I don't know if you're taking electrolytes. You didn't mention it, but that will be the first thing I would do. And also how many times a day you're eating. If you're, you know, after a few days or weeks, some people notice satiety a lot and they are not eating sometimes enough. But the electrolytes will be the first thing I would double check.
Yeah. And I have just a kind of extra comment about it sounds like this was happening before and is happening again. And sometimes it has nothing to do with carnivore. Sometimes it's your breathing is different at night. It could be that the weather's changing. And sometimes, I'd be curious to know how your sinuses are doing. And because if you wake up with a headache, it could be a breathing thing during the night. And so I'd want to know how things are going with your sinuses. Do you notice that, with weather changes, this happens? So maybe just something to jot down and note to see if there's a pattern, because it may not be diet. It may be something else.
She said she's drinking people with electrolytes. I think maybe I'm reading that wrong.
Propel?
I hope so.
Is it like I'm drinking people with electrolytes, or what?
It might.
I don't think it's
You're right. It might be Propel, which
Propel, I think
might not be the
yeah.
best quality.
Yeah, Propel's not that great. So yeah, make sure you
It
get
froze up there a second. Hopefully we're still okay. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, can you guys hear me okay? Did I freeze up here?
I think
Yes, you're okay.
You're freezing up.
What's going on?
Gary.
We hear you, but it may be on your end.
Okay, I think I'll read the question.
Yeah.
Bucky Badger says, has the panel had a chance to try cod liver in its own oil? I asked a few weeks ago. Non tried it. I love it. It's very unique in terms of a fish product because it's 42 grams of fat and 2 grams of protein. So
I remember this.
I do remember the question. Yep.
Yes. You know what you need to do is since none of I don't know, have any of you tried it yet? And if we haven't, maybe Bucky Badger needs to present us with a challenge.
Well, I would say I haven't tried it that way, but actually it's one of the things my mom raised us as healthily as she could, knowing what she knew at the time. And cod liver oil was something that she gave us quite regularly. It was in a capsule, but she actually gave us cod liver oil quite a bit. So I never really tasted it too much because I just swallowed it in a pill. But
yeah, but this is the actual cod liver.
mm-hmm.
Do you know where to get cod liver?
Mm-mm. Nope, but the cod liver oil I know is pretty readily available, but I don't know the actual liver. No.
So cod liver in oil.
Yeah. Let us know where and how to get it.
I think you can order it on Amazon.
Really?
Okay. I wonder if
try it.
Sprouts would have it.
I'll try it.
I'll try it. I'm willing to try anything once.
I'll try it at least once.
Yeah.
All right. At Meat Stock, we're having cod liver. Put it on the menu.
All right. I'm trying to find where I can not show this comment. Okay, hide. There we go. Okay. Comment from Mary Beth. This is the best live in Carnivore.
Oh, sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Let's see.
That was before technical difficulties.
Yes. We have a question from Diane. I've been told to have my fats 80% and protein 20%. Too hard for me to get that much fat. Do any of you do this? Carnivore 1 week, short of 3 years, 71 years old. So, Barb, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about this.
Yes. I have done that, but I had to be really intentional about it because I naturally gravitate to eating more protein. So what I had to do is really scale down the protein and make sure I added fat, like doing a steak. add butter to the steak or add tallow. It feels kind of unnatural at first, and especially if you are a volume eater like I am. I wanted to see a lot of food. If you're doing the 80-20 and you eat a ton of protein and put a ton of fat on that, it's probably not going to work as well. So you just kind of have to gradually scale back your protein, add the fats, and also choose cuts of meat that are fattier, ribeyes, chuck roast, brisket. I would move toward those. You can also add egg yolks to things. That's another good way to get some extra fat in.
Yeah, I'd be curious if you're tracking on an app to see where you're at, because it's definitely not volume. You're looking at calories. And I know when I tracked for a few days, I was really surprised at how little fat it took to get my calories up to 80% fat. So I just make sure you're actually, not worried about trying to get it 80% by volume, that it's calories. So like Barb said, add butter to an already fatty meat and you'll probably get there without too much trouble.
Okay. So yeah, I would just add that, everyone is in the one experiment and you kind of have to explore what works best for you. So if somebody's telling you that you need to do that, I guess they should probably have some reasons why they feel like you should eat that way, but always listen to your body. It really just depends on what your goals are too. So some people actually have to go higher fat content than that. Let's see. Struggling, guys. I'm struggling.
While you're struggling, I'll go back to Bucky's comment. I just ordered my cod liver from Amazon and it'll arrive tomorrow. So I'll have it over the weekend.
Say, you already have it?
Nice.
The Amazon's knocking on the door right now. Hang on. No. But it'll arrive tomorrow. So we'll give it a shot.
Okay. So this question, I'm not sure if this is a troll or not, but he says, how come a lot of fat people have carnivore YouTube channels? I don't get why they can't lose weight. Oh. Does anybody want to take this?
I do. I'll take that because that's one of the things that I think it's super unfortunately about our society. Sometimes we're a little judgmental and you really don't have any idea where
a lot judgmental.
Yeah. You don't have any idea where those people come from. I tell you, I was inspired so much by two people that I think have been incredible and had an incredible carnivore journey because they have come from a place of, one was over 800 pounds and one was over 700 pounds. And I met them 3 years ago. And it was amazing to hear their journeys and to hear how much weight they've lost and how well they're doing. They still have a long way to go. But I'm telling you, it's, unfortunately, some people just look at the body shape that they're in now and think, oh, wow, you're well overweight, but they've come an amazing way. And I think it's so incredible and important to recognize that. That's a big thing. The other thing that I would add is a lot of times it's the health that is so important. And as Dr. Kiltz says very frequently, obesity is not what kills everybody. That's not the fat. Their body's designed to create fat. And it's good to have fat reserves if you're in a famine, right? So it's not the fat that becomes the problem. And losing that amount of weight and eating a healthier diet affects so many other things that makes you healthier for the long haul. That is more important than anything, and getting yourself in a healthy metabolic state. So yeah, and it's a journey. You don't get super overweight overnight, right? It takes a while to get there too. So it takes a while for it all to come off.
I have a question for the people here, and I'm going to make a statement, no explanations. Is carnivore diet a weight loss diet?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Now I was one of those morbidly obese people with a YouTube channel that did lose weight. So, but I think there's probably two categories of people. There's, like Ashley said, the people who are still in the process of their journey and they're still, heavy. So I'd say, like, watch them and find out, are they in that category? And there are people who do struggle, and I think one of the reasons they struggle is that they maybe aren't strict in their diet. They still struggle with addiction, and they have a YouTube channel. Often it's because of community. And a lot of times they have developed a community and have found a lot of really, like friends through their YouTube channel that help to support them and they're along their journey with them. Now, it would be really wonderful to be able to help them get over the addictive piece of it. But there's probably a good reason why they keep having their YouTube channel. And I would guess it's probably because of the community support that they get through it. And I think it's important to show some grace because we're all on our own journey and everybody has their own stuff to deal with. And hopefully, if weight loss is their goal, they will end up accomplishing it.
And everybody's not going to end up being a skinny person. And these beautiful people here, Adam and Barbara, are skinny. That doesn't mean the carnivore diet. I will emphasize that. And if you don't want to listen more about obesity, listen to Dr. Kiltz. Obesity is not the disease. It's not a disease. And I've never been skinny in my life. However, you can see the difference here. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It wasn't this person, but I did have somebody, and I'm not saying that John would be this way, but I did have somebody a while back, maybe a year or so ago on my channel, jump in the comments. And I don't even know if this person even watched the whole video because I was showing a lot of before pictures and sharing my progress. This person might have just watched the first few minutes and wrote the comment, she's obese. And that's it. She's obese. And so at the time, I came back and I usually I don't even bother with the comments and everything, but I came back and I said, no, I'm morbidly obese. My goal is to be obese. Just kind of gave it a little sense of humor. But the whole point was I was still on my journey.
Yeah.
And I'm actually now 1 pound away from no longer being obese, but to being overweight.
And I'll add to that too, that the bravery it took for you to start a YouTube channel, it's your worst like that. Yeah. Not many people can do that. And that's why not a lot of people do.
Yeah. So I want to add to this conversation too. So, there's channels out there where there are people that have weight to lose that are carnivore channels. And people they're in so many different stages of recovering their metabolic health. They've done lots and lots of damage typically to themselves over the years and decades. And there's many more factors that go into, your health than just what you put in your mouth. So, there's other issues or things that might be going on as far as why they're not losing weight. Exercise is important, sleep is important, reducing your stress, that's important as well. But, if we are critical of those that aren't losing weight, that have these channels, we wouldn't have channels like Bill Knott, right? Like Bill started at 700 pounds. And, he didn't start necessarily for weight loss. He started because he had mental health conditions. And the amount of inspiration that Bill has been able to put out there in the ether is absolutely incredible. He still is considered overweight, but
he's half the man he used to be.
Absolutely, yeah. He's still losing weight, but he's hit plenty of stalls along the way. But it's really important that he gets his story of healing out there because he doesn't have this crippling depression, suicidal depression anymore. So, it's very important for people in all stages to share their journey. I think it's so important. And, that's part of the reason why Carrie wanted to start this Healing Humanity Project was to share the stories and motivate people through these stories. So thanks for the question, even if it was a troll comment.
Yeah.
John goes around a little bit of a troll in a friendly manner. I haven't seen any bad comments from him, but Yeah.
It's a legitimate question because it's like,
Of
how are
course.
the people that can't lose weight? So I really feel it may be the addiction piece of it that might be not getting addressed.
Well, I would like to add, I think we have an over focus on that external. Is anybody saying, gosh, that really too thin person on a carnivore channel, why aren't they gaining weight?
Mhm.
So, why aren't we asking those questions? I mean, it's too focused. Secondly, your appearance being skinny or fat is not necessarily an indicator of your metabolic health. There are plenty of skinny people that are very unhealthy. There are people who are overweight that are very healthy. I think we need to step back and look at the metrics with which we're judging people.
That's right. Are you back, Carrie?
I am back, but I have some unstable internet, so we'll do the best we can here. But it's good timing because we're about to do a drawing for the Healing Humanity shirt. So let's see if we can do that. Here we go. All right, the winner of a Healing Humanity shirt in color blue All for Jesus Carnivore.
Hey, we know that.
Helen.
Ellen,
How can Helen claim her prize, Adam?
Well, Carrie, Helen can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Ashley will send you your shirt. Congratulations.
All right, congratulations. And we're going to do one more drawing for a 30-day membership to healinghumanity.life. So post your best question with hashtag life, L-I-F-E, or your testimony of healing. We do 12 Zoom calls per week, doctors, experts, individuals. We just had our Thursday night Inspired Together call with Emma. Emma the Carnivore came on tonight. So we've got lots of guests and lots of phone calls and courses and a community to help you on a path to healing. If you don't win this, you can get 50% off now with the promo code in the description below. Don't be shy. Post your best questions. All right. Let's see what our next question is here. We got a comment from Mary Beth. This is the best live in Carnivore. Oh, wow. Thank you. Here's a question. Hopefully we didn't get this one when I got knocked off.
we did that one.
We
We did that one. Okay.
Yeah, we got to get you caught up here.
Yeah. Oh, I think that one's done too. Do we do the alkaline water?
Nope.
All right. Could it be an issue drinking alkaline water 100% of the time with added electrolytes?
I don't think that there's an issue with that. Dr. Berry frequently talks about this. Our stomach acid is so acidic that alkaline water is literally going to have virtually no effect whatsoever on you. So that is null and void. And adding electrolytes to that's not really going to be an issue either. So what do you think, Dr. Nelson?
Waste of money, my opinion. Very short and sweet.
All right. And we got the real Dr. Nelson, member for 23 months. Homestead How. I love these people from Healing Humanity.
Love you, brother.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson. We love you too.
With
Someone
Nicole
hacked my
says-
account.
with that comment, I had to get my hat.
Yeah, where's the hats?
I think someone hacked my account. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Here's a question for Barb. I have so many food intolerances that pretty much all I can eat is chicken, pork, eggs, and salmon. Is that going to work? I crave beef so bad, but I can't tolerate it.
Well, that can work, but I think it might be worth looking into reasons that you might not be able to tolerate beef. And the first thing that comes to mind is histamine. Although if you tolerate pork, pork also is high in histamine. So not sure that's the issue, but I'm going to pass this one over to Lynn just because she is the expert on histamines and probably has some insight into this.
Well, my first thing is to find out if you've been tested for alpha gal, because it's really uncommon, especially if you crave it. They crave the beef to not be able to tolerate it. I definitely want to know, like, what exactly is it that you're not tolerating? What symptoms is it? Because if it's a histamine issue, the pork, the egg whites in particular, often the chicken can cause a histamine problem. The beef is, if it's fresh, is the least histamine sensitive meat that you can eat, other than maybe lamb. And even the salmon can be higher in histamine than the beef. So I would be really concerned if you can't handle beef, if you might need to get tested for alpha gal, because that would be a concern for me.
Yeah, and we need to define what she means by unable to tolerate.
Yeah, I think that we had some communication from her before, and I think it was heartburn. So correct me if I'm wrong, Nicole, because it may be another person I was communicating with, but this sounds very familiar. So there may be some things that it may be a matter of scaling things back. And if you want to eat the beef, to make sure that it's super, super fresh, and you might need to take some like a DAO enzyme. But it's the fact that it's specifically the beef is concerning for alpha gal. But if you're possibly trying to eat aged or smoked beef, that's higher in histamine. The beef does need to be fresh.
All right, good stuff. And just a quick note, having some technical issues here, but Stan said that the links weren't in the description. I just went and added those. I don't know what happened, but they're normally in there every week. So in order to win the membership to healinghumanity.life, post your best question with #life. Make sure you're following each of these individuals on the screen. The links are now indeed there. I just double checked. All right, we got Lions Carnivore podcast. Just FYI, tonight we will be having an Honoring the Veterans show on the podcast at 8 p.m. Would love for anyone that knows of anyone that served to come on. Spread the word. God bless you all.
Oh, very cool.
That's great.
Okay, question for Adam. What should Tammy drink instead of Propel water? I do drink the sparkling water from Walmart.
Just regular water. Not, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I just bought a reverse osmosis countertop unit. And I mean, you can still just drink tap water, but I'm trying to be as clean as I possibly can. And use that reverse osmosis water and put Sole water in it to add back the minerals. But right now I'm having Topo Chico. So yeah, I think I'm not sure if you're just wanting the flavor or.
Well, she mentioned the electrolytes, and we had talked to her about the headaches. So the Sole water is a really good suggestion.
Yeah, just regular water with adding some Sole water to it. I think is probably one of the best things that you can do.
Yeah, and Tammy, there you just look up YouTube Sole water, SOLE with an apostrophe, and there's a ton of videos out there on how to make it.
Dr. Nelson, should Mary Beth do another CAC score if mine was 0 3 years ago?
Well, CAC score of 0 means over the next at least 5, maybe as much as 10 years, you have very little chance of having a heart attack. Could you do it in 3 years? Yeah, you could do it every year if you wanted. I would probably not do it every year if your score was 0, if you're concerned about anything. 3 years sounds a reasonable time to repeat it. There is no specific contraindication to it. And the American Heart Association has, I think I saw this week, don't know when they did it, if it was very recent. Now they are including the CAC score and the CT angiograms and all the things that in the metabolic health community we already are doing. as part of the recommendations for people to have. But yeah, 3 years, that seems very reasonable to repeat it if you want to.
All right, thank you. And a question for the panel, if anyone on the panel has experience with this, from Honeybee's Homestead, what is the best protein powder? Having issues getting a full 130 grams of protein a day. I'm not familiar with any or can make any recommendations, but anyone else on the panel have any ideas?
I bought
best-
the Equip brand. I really don't do protein powder, but I have bought, I think it's called the Equip brand. It's kind of expensive on Amazon, but you can get a 0 carb version of it.
Yes, I can't
Most-
tolerate. Oh, sorry about that. Go ahead.
Most cuts of steaks have 7 grams of protein per ounce. To have 130 grams of protein in a day, all you need is about 18 to 20 grams, 18 to 20 ounces of a steak. Okay, it's not that much. If there are some quality products out there, the best protein is the steak by far. But most of bioavailable is going to be the steak. So if you can avoid having to drink a protein shake, eat the meat. But really, I just calculated 18 and a half ounces of a steak will provide that. Maybe about 22 or 23 of ground beef, because ground beef happens to have a little bit less per ounce.
So maybe eat more frequently, try to spread it out a little bit. It might be, I'm kind of like that too. I struggle because I can't eat a lot at one sitting. So maybe try to eat, more frequently, so spread it out over the day and see if that'll help. Anytime you process down something, it's never going to be as good for you as eating the real thing.
I just want to add, I can't tolerate the protein powders. I do have some clients that have used the Equip. Also, something else to look at if you're trying to increase protein are essential amino acids, something like aminos. There are some bone broth powders. They are not as complete a protein. So there's some options. But I agree with Dr. Nelson. Eating meat is the best way to get your protein.
All right. All right, we got a question for Ashley, my Carnivore Health. How much does cheese stop from losing weight?
I'd say that definitely differs per person, but it can be a weight loss staller for sure for a lot of people. And I notice it personally on myself when I'm overindulging in cheese that definitely I'm not losing weight and have gained weight. So I think that's definitely an area for me personally. It's one of those, if you use cheese very lightly, I think there's people can get away with it, but try cutting it out and see how you do, if you do differently, and if that kickstarts any more weight loss, if you still have some weight to lose.
I just wanted to add Tammy's question about the water. Yeah, it was based the flavor that she was talking about. So the Soleil water may not work for you if you're looking for flavor. You might want to try flavored electrolytes, but a lot of those have stevia in them. Those are fairly clean. But I did want to give a brief description of what Soleil water is. So basically, you just take like a quart jar, fill it, I don't know, a third to a half of salt. Try to get as clean of a salt that you possibly can. You put water in it. I like to use distilled water, so it's totally clean. Fill the water up all the way to the top or close to the top, mix it up, put a plastic lid on it and let it sit overnight. And the solids are going to dissolve in the water, and it's going to leave you with a layer of salt in the bottom. So if there's still a layer of salt in the bottom after 24 hours, that means the water that remains is completely saturated with sodium and minerals, and that's the Soleil water. So you're going to want to use roughly, what is it, Lynn? A teaspoon to a tablespoon per glass.
Yeah, I mean, start with a teaspoon and work your way up. And I know Coach Lisa really talks a lot about soy water and has this getting up to 3 to 4 tablespoons a day.
Yeah,
But
it's if you start with a teaspoon, you're probably fine.
it is a taste thing.
Right.
It does taste very minerally.
Right, very
word.
salty. Yeah.
All right, we've got a super chat from Gregory Goldbarth. Gig, how's it going, Gig?
Hello, Gregory.
Hello, everybody. $2 super chat. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. All our super chats go 100% to our Healing Humanity project. So thank you so much. All right. Let's see here. Question for Dr. Nelson. I have hypermobile EDS with chronic diarrhea, carnivore for 26 months now, and it still persists. Any suggestions on how to overcome this?
There can be, I don't know that the EDS necessarily plays a role on the chronic diarrhea. It may, but so many questions come to mind. I mean, have you always been having the diarrhea? Did you have it before carnivore, after carnivore? Has it gotten better or worse? How much fat are you having? Sometimes one of the main reasons for diarrhea, we talk a lot about the fat, but it's not the fat, it's the change in your diet that all of a sudden creates a change in your intestinal flora, right? And that can cause diarrhea. The other factor is the amounts of fat that you're having. You're not used to eating that much fat, and that may be another issue. It doesn't say if you had anything from before. It could be inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel syndrome, and it could be histamine issues as well. So I'll let the good nurse here, Lynn, take it from here.
Yeah, I'd also want to know if you've had an evaluation with a gastroenterologist and to kind of rule out some of the things Dr. Nelson suggested. You could also have something called, lymphocytic colitis. It falls under this umbrella. There's collagenous microscopic lymphocytic colitis, which are treated different than like a Crohn's disease or an ulcerative colitis. If you're not, I don't know, you just say chronic diarrhea. So I'm not sure if you're experiencing it, a lot of passing blood, mucus, what does that mean? That can mean a bunch of different things to different people. Usually if you have something severe like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, it's going to be bloody mucus lots of times a day, very liquid, versus maybe just loose stools. But it would be worthwhile to get evaluated, especially if it's been 26 months and you're still experiencing the diarrhea. But from a histamine standpoint, if you want to try and you've already had all that and you want to see if it's a histamine problem, which a lot of people with EDS have histamine issues, mast cell activation syndrome, EDS, POTS, they all go together for a lot of us. Watch my histamine video on my channel, but you might want to take a look at what you're eating on carnivore, because there are a lot of high histamine carnivore foods. And you could maybe tweak what you're eating and get the histamine, I had to go on a low histamine lion diet. So you might want to just check that out, because there's tons of histamine receptors in your gut. So that could cause it. You could also have an issue with bile. There's a variety of different things, or your microbiome. But I would think after 26 months, your microbiome would probably have adjusted. So I'm kind of going in two different directions. Either see a GI doc if you haven't already, but maybe check out the histamine factor.
I want to point out that you did mention the difference between having crampy diarrhea, blood in your stools, a lot of mucus, and just having loose stools, right? Because one, it's probably something is going on, and the other one is just you continue to have loose stools. Guess what? When I have a little bit more fat in a day, I may have a little bit looser stools. That doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong, right? So
Yeah. If this was my GI patient, I'd have a lot more questions to ask just to really drill down on what they're experiencing.
Good stuff. All right, we've got a question for Paul. Who is the one person in your life you wish you could get on the carnivore lifestyle? For me, that would be my dad. He won't listen to me though, but I'm not going to stop. Dad, if you're watching, you should go carnivore. You could probably golf for another 50 years, just thriving. You just go carnivore.
I mean,
I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on that one.
I heard carnivore adds 20 yards to your drive, right? So you might as well.
100% guaranteed. All right.
Yeah, I'll answer that question too, because I've got a lot of people that I chat with about carnivore and who have seen me and seen others, but one individual that is near and dear to me, definitely, I would love to see him jump on carnivore. He's had a heart attack last year and did well because of that scare and lost a lot of the weight, but didn't stick with it. And so I hope that he has a change of heart soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't say my one person, but I would definitely I could say it in one word for pretty much, and that's grandkids.
Yeah. All right. Little follow up here. I think we talked about this, but since this person's name is Mr. Stutz, we gotta follow up on this one. For Adam, what kind of water were you talking about earlier? I got in a little late. Can anyone on the chat help? Pretty please.
It was Soleil water. It's spelled SOLE, like sole of your feet. Doesn't taste like the sole of your feet though. Just do a YouTube search. Do a YouTube search, and you should find tons of videos on how to make Soleil water. It's basically sort of making your own electrolyte drink mix, if you will, but it's mainly made from salt and the minerals in salt.
And Dr. Nelson, we have another CAC score question. How long does it take to reverse a CAC score?
That's a great question, and I don't know that anybody can give a specific answer. Even when I speak to, you guys have had Dr. Ovadia, among others, multiple times.
Yesterday, he was on our membership site. Yeah.
So that's not the objective of doing something, because you don't know that you're going to be able to reverse a CAC score. What's measuring is the calcification of the plaques that you may have in your heart, and the older plaques are more calcified. The younger plaques, you don't see them on a CAC score, a CT, coronary artery CT. So that's not the objective of doing anything. You might never change your CAC score. In fact, if you have plaque begets plaque was one of the conclusions of the CTA keto trials. Okay. So if you want to pick one objective, eat fatty meat, reverse insulin resistance, that will be the best approach. If you want more detailed answers, or if you have a serious problem with atherosclerosis, I would wholeheartedly recommend that you try to speak with Dr. Ovadia.
Yeah, he was just on last night as an expert on Healing Humanity Life, and this topic came up. And like you said, I mean, he said he has seen some scores reverse, but it's not really known why some people can get it to go down and others can't. But he really emphasized the importance of it not going up. And getting, like you said, getting the insulin resistance under control. Also, there are some things that are non-dietary that can impact your arteries. And we talked a little bit about mycotoxins and heavy metals. And so go check out microplastics. He wasn't sure. Actually, Carrie asked him that question, and he wasn't 100% sure about the microplastics. But go check out Dr. Ovadia's channel, and he has a lot of good information on there.
Yeah, he's got a great book too, Stay Off My Operating Table, and he has a new book coming out, Stay Off My Kitchen Table. So go check that out. It's going to be great.
Yeah. It was interesting with him too that he shared with us that he sees people who have CAC scores in the multiple thousands. And so he didn't even act like that was something that he was like, it wasn't an emergency necessarily. Of course, he's going to investigate it further and do the CT angiogram and possibly do an intervention. But the key is to not have it not go higher.
Right. Yeah, Dr. Avedi is great. And every time we have him on, it just reminds me heart disease is caused from two things mainly: insulin resistance and inflammation. And that's a big message that he says. Dr. Nelson has shared the women's health study. We've talked about that on one of these previous calls. And Dr. Avedi brought that up yesterday too. The fact if you have type 2 diabetes, I can't remember the number he was saying, something like 600 times more likely to suffer heart disease versus high cholesterol. So hopefully we get the word out, because everyone in the carnivore community, or everyone in general, the default go-to is, oh, I want to know what your cholesterol is, when you're far more likely to suffer heart disease if you have poor metabolic health or insulin resistance or inflammation. All right, we got a question here from Amanda for Barb. Why whenever I eat fat that is even slightly warm, not hot, does it go straight through me like water? I've been strict carnivore for 1 year on the 31st of this month.
Quick suggestion, let it cool down, put it in the fridge if you want, and then eat it cold. Because it's only when it's slightly warm, right?
Yeah, it's still rendered. If it's warm, it's rendered and it's going to go through you. So yes, what Dr. Nelson said, let it solidify before you eat it.
Yeah. And I would be wondering too, how, if you have a gallbladder, or what the condition is of the gallbladder, or if you have issues with bile. So I would be curious about if you would try to a bile salt or ox bile, if you've tried that before, and if that has made a difference or not.
I would expect some fat adaptation she said 1 year carnivore.
Yeah, by a year, you'd think that it should be adapted for the most part.
All right, we've got a super chat. Thank you so much for that. 10 pounds. I eat 1 kilogram of beef a day, but just keep losing weight. I'm 6'1", starting weight was 67 kilograms. I went as low as 52, so I gave up and added carbs back in. Advice for skinny people.
Well, if you can tolerate it, dairy is one that helps people that feel like they're underweight to gain weight. Trying to get the raw version of that is probably going to be the best that you possibly could have in that situation. But also making sure that you're having enough fat. So fat, when you eat exogenous fat, it essentially it's digested and goes through in straight into your lymphatic system, is transported to your fat cells to be used for energy. So in order to put some weight on, eat more fat. That'll put some weight on you, but also make sure that you're exercising and utilizing all of that protein that you're eating to increase your muscle mass. I'd be interested to hear what Lynn has to say on this.
You said exactly what I was going to say. And I think that a lot of times the focus is on the protein and not enough on the fat. And so I absolutely agree. You said everything I was going to say.
And you're right about the dairy. Dairy milk, which is the basic product that comes out of the cow, right? It's a fattening growth food. Mm-hmm. It's meant to take little babies to become very big humans.
Yeah.
How does it do that? It's fattening.
I would definitely want to make sure, though, that you've had a thyroid panel. Make sure that your thyroid is functioning properly, because if you haven't, definitely get one, because that could be an indicator of hyperthyroidism. And so I think it'd be really important to rule out any medical reason why you can't gain weight.
All right. We've got a comment from Carnivore. I'm always so grateful that Lynn's on the panel to talk about histamines.
Thank you.
Us too.
Nice having a histamine expert.
All right. We'll give Lynn a question then. Will Element break a fast? What do you think, Lynn?
I don't think it will. It doesn't have any calories. You're not chewing. It's not food. You're just drinking it. The only thing that some people struggle with Element is that it does have a sweetener in it, and 0-calorie sweetener. It's stevia, so stevia for a lot of people isn't a problem. But if you have a sweet, if your brain gets triggered by the sweet, you could end up breaking your fast. It'll make you want to eat, but I don't think Element in and of itself will.
All right. I think we have time for one more question. What are the benefits, cautions of a woman microdosing testosterone once per week?
I think we had that question last week from.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's a Dr. Nelson question.
Yeah, it's a Dr. Nelson question.
Oh, you're
you're-
on mute, Dr. Nelson.
Sorry, my dog was barking. I had muted my microphone. If you're doing hormonal replacement therapy, okay, it is okay to do it with the testosterone. I don't see a problem. Obviously, you have consulted someone. If not, you should consult someone before starting any medication. Particularly, testosterone is a controlled substance, so you must see a license provider to be able to provide it to you, unless you're getting in the black market. But no, women need testosterone just like men need estrogen and progesterone, all those hormones. We assign them to one sex or the other. The difference is only the quantities that we may have, but we all need testosterone. So if your provider have given you, as part of your hormone replacement therapy, some testosterone, probably appropriate.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Well, we're going to do a drawing for the Healing Humanity membership in just a minute. But before we do that, I know there's some new folks that jumped on. I forgot to ask Dr. Nelson, too. You guys have anything big coming up with Dr. Kiltz? Any meetups or anything like that?
So we are kind of co-sponsoring, I would guess the word is, Dr. Obadiah's cholesterol code screening in St. Petersburg on April 6th. Dr. Kiltz, I believe Dr. Boss will be there. Dr. Obadiah, of course, is going to be there. Susie Hoff, forget her last name, Bossoff, is the one in charge of that. Go to kiltzmeetup.com and we have the link there to, if you're interested in going to the cholesterol code screening in St. Petersburg. We're also doing one in Orlando on August 22nd.
Awesome. All right. We're going to do the giveaway right now. 30-day membership to healinghumanity.life. And if you missed out, you can still get 50% off your first month. Promo code on the bottom of the screen. Bride's Biscuit. Adam, how can Bride's Biscuit claim their prize?
Well, Carrie, Bride's Biscuit can go to healinghumanity.movie/giveaway, fill out the form, and Lynn will send you your code promptly. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Adam, Barb, Lynn, Ashley, Dr. Nelson, do you guys have anything new or exciting coming up you want to mention before we wrap up?
Meat stock. That's it.
Meatstock, we'll be in Meatstock. Dr. Kills certainly, and I will be in Meatstock. In the middle of April, we'll be in Long Island, April 11th and April 12th. And April 12th, Lois, Lotito, and I will sponsor a day with us at the ball game, watching a Mets game, and then going to a Korean barbecue to eat meat.
Nice.
Kiltzmeetup.com. That's where you can buy the tickets.
I love it. And Barb, do you have any new interviews coming up?
I do. I have one releasing tomorrow, a very special interview. So you'll just have to go check it out.
Ah.
I love it. And we
Angle
got
the carrot.
Join Healing Humanity at Meat Stock in May and meet Maggie, the rancher, Muscles Maggie. Use code Healing Humanity at checkout for $50 off. It's going to be a heck of an event. We hope to see you all out there.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you to the panel. Thank you, everyone, for your great questions. We really appreciate it. We do this every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye
Right.
for now.
Bye.
Nice.